Now I would like to introduce you some of the key features that have been implemented in Business Central 16 and 17, published in April and October 2020. So the most important thing that we all need to know about Business Central is that it is now a living product, meaning that both us as partners and you as customers, we can have a real impact on what Business Central is and what Business Central will become. This is all thanks to the special community platform that Microsoft has established, and we can all use it to submit our ideas. So we now have 2 major releases every year, one in the spring, one in the fall season, and we also have minor releases introduced every month. And there is a very important difference between on-premises installations and on-cloud installations. It is that if you have a Business Central installed on-premises, on your own environment, we still have full control on the data in and the functionalities inside. But it also means that every upgrade is a separate task that we need to conduct. While if you have a Business Central installed in the cloud, all the updates or the upgrades are automatic. So you always run on the most recent version of Business Central. Of course, there are still possibilities to postpone the upgrade for some time to let you better prepare to verify all the features or extensions that you have. But eventually you will be always running the most recent version of Business Central if you have it in the cloud. There is a very nice product roadmap available for everyone. You can always refer to verify what is coming, what are the planned features on the Docs site, on the Microsoft website. There is also an important difference between public preview and general availability, so you know when particular features will be available for preview and when they will be incorporated into the major release. Some of the ideas, as we already mentioned, some of the ideas submitted by partners have already made it to the actual product. And now let's take a look at some of this information. So this is the experience portal where we can actually see that we have more than 3,000 ideas submitted to Business Central alone. When we go further and check some details, we can see that actually it doesn't require a lot for an idea to catch Microsoft's attention, right? So sometimes it is enough that an idea gets 50, 80, 100 votes, and then there is a chance that it will be incorporated into standard product. And here we can see that one of these ideas, one that was published this spring, has been incorporated into Business Central. This is the documentation, and this is how we know that this is actually an idea that has been submitted. So we can all make an impact. Of course, we still need some degree of control over the code we're running and the features that we're using. That is why if Microsoft introduces a potentially major change in some of the areas, like new pricing engine and functionality behind pricing, this is usually something that you can turn on or off using so-called feature management page in your Business Central. Let's move on and let's take a look at the web client, because, this is something that we can all clearly see that Microsoft has put a lot of effort in. So web client has evolved a lot over the last months, and this is still one of the most, it still gets the most attention from Microsoft to make sure that we can have a smooth user experience. So we can now actually edit the data in the web client as if it was any Microsoft product it looks and feels exactly the same as if we were working in Microsoft Excel. We can now copy and paste rows within a table, and we can also use edit an Excel feature if we would like to work on a particularly big data. So it is all very efficient now. We can actually use some shortcuts and keywords in our filtering. For instance, we can have a filter that only shows up documents that are supposed to be posted today, and this filter will be dynamically updated, so we do not need to manually change the date every single time we open the filters list. Find and Role Explorer. This is something resembling what we used to know as search box in RTC client. However, now it is not only immune to spelling mistakes, but it is also capable of running a quick search against an app source. So for instance, if we type in intercompany in a search box, it will show up not only standard intercompany features, but also our add-on that is available on app source. We also see a lot of performance improvements. For instance, now when you open up a page, we do not actually need to wait until all the data is loaded before it is shown on a screen. So this means that both data and metadata are loaded simultaneously to make sure that we have smooth user experience. We also have a lot of personalization options. You can add fields, remove fields, change the order. We can really do a lot, and this is all done in a runtime. So no need to log off, log back in again, nothing like that. It's all happening as we work. And another nice thing that is now available is page inspection, which basically works as if about this page feature that we used to know. This is where we can investigate the details behind the data. So now let's take a quick look at the web client. So this is the new SBC available. I'll just quickly open a sales order. Let's open one of the sales orders. It has a lot of lines, and I can run edit in Excel function. So now the Excel add-in connects to Business Central in cloud, retrieves the data, and I have the possibility to make changes to some of these rows. Let's say that I would like to change the quantity in the very first line to 30. I just do it, press publish, and once we go back to BC and refresh the data, the quantity has changed to 30. So it is now very streamlined user experience. Now let's take a look at some of the general and productivity changes that have been introduced to Business Central. A very nice thing is that system languages are now available as apps, so you can actually look it up on App Source and add it to your environment, which means that we no longer need to work with the objects, merge some data into your system environment. It is now a standalone element of your system. A language, it can be very useful for some of you. You can now have multiple sandbox environments, and for those of you who are not familiar with the concept of sandbox, it is an isolated environment, which is a copy of your production environment that you can create with few clicks. So you have a separate Business Central tenant with your actual production data. It can be very useful, for instance, for testing purposes. And regarding some purely functional features, we have Company Hub, which is like a dashboard that shows us some KPIs from multiple Business Central companies. So, for instance, you can see the current balances and the number of your user tasks, and you are only a few clicks away from each of these companies. A very useful feature if you if you work in multiple companies. In Business Central, we can now receive more than we ordered on purchase documents. Very, very, very nice feature that is actually an idea that has been submitted by partners. We can use resources on purchase documents, which means that, well, we are not only limited to selling services, but we can use resources to buy services as well. Again, something that has been, well, requested quite a while ago. And some of the important checks in the system are now conducted in the background, which means that when you are working on a document, you immediately see if there's something wrong with it. You do not need to wait until you actually post it. And last but not least, this is not necessarily a functionality change, although a lot has changed in the price calculation module. The way that Microsoft has restructured the code for pricing, but it will be happening for other modules as well, it allows us to make very, very deep changes to system internals in a safe and quick manner. So we can now do a lot in pricing area, and it is quicker and more safer for both of us. So that was just a quick tour of most important features that have been introduced in Business Central recently. Thank you for your attention.